Live in the Markets with Trader Nick. In this show, Nick will cover the latest market trends, whether they're rising or falling. Stick around to hear about trade ideas, latest news, and much more. Remember that trading involves risk and is not suitable for all investors. Today's stream is made possible by our partners and sponsors. If you're looking for a new broker, trying to get funded, or looking for a trading community to join, consider checking out the links in the description below. By using these links, you'll get access to great products and be supporting the channel. And now it's time for Live in the Markets with Trader Nick.
3, 2, 1.
My name is Nick. I'm a full-time trader and entrepreneur. We put out tons of stuff for free for traders. These are real trades. This is real money. I'm putting my money on the line. This is going to be a live trading video. Here, locking in over $1,000 on this trade. Wow, I'd love to get in on this. Technical insights that really look good to me. Here we go. We're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's NFP live stream. This is something that we do every single month, and it's always a lot of fun. It's always exciting to jump on the charts with you guys, take a look at what's moving in the markets, and kind of go from there. So let me pull up my charts, make sure everything is running smooth here. So how's everybody doing? Let me know real quick as we get started here. Today's a big stream. This is going to be really, really fun. We're going to watch the spike together to see if anything happens. We're going to talk numbers. We're going to talk about trade setups and ideas. It's going to be a busy hour here, as we usually see on the first Friday of each month, some volatility from the non-farm employment change numbers. So bear with me. It's going to be a fun morning. Real quick, as we get started, comment where you're from. It's always cool to see where everybody is tuning in from. Let me know what part of the world that you're tuning into the stream from. And what time is it for you? I'm curious what time it is where you're currently at, because sometimes people stay up for this. Some people, this is early morning for them. But rocking the new shirt, got the Calvin Klein going on. New shirt today. I'm headed to a comedy show and dinner with some friends after today's work day. So I'm very excited. Going to be a nice wedding weekend. Although I do have a wedding coming too. So that's, hopefully we can make some money out of this NFP and maybe I can have a good wedding. Hey guys, thank you for commenting. That's cool. South Africa, Nigeria, Pakistan, Miami, the UK, Kenya, Bonaire, the Caribbean, Venezuela, Japan, Botswana, Manchester, UK, Turkey, Cairo, Uganda. So cool to see people from all over the world. Lots of people from Africa in here today. Good to see you, my African friends and my Asian friends and European friends. It's just cool to see. That's the thing that the coolest thing about my YouTube channel for me is that I've met people from places that I never would have imagined to meet people from. And that's cool. So yeah, let's take a look at some stuff here. Let's jump into some charts. Let's take a look at first. We've got to start with the big one in the room. Of course, the US dollar. So let me full screen this. We can go ahead and get started taking a look at USD here for a moment. So what we need to know, you guys, before we jump into a whole bunch of charting and analysis and stuff, is that if you're new to Forex right now, first of all, what is NFP? Quick overview of what it is. NFP is the jobs report numbers coming out from the US once a month, and it's a big deal because it tells you a bit of the economic health. Of course, if there are more jobs created in the US, that's a positive thing. If there are less jobs created in the US, or we have a worsening unemployment figure, that's of course worse for the US. And how would that impact the dollar? Well, probably how you would expect it to. Strong NFP, usually strong for the dollar. Weak NFP, usually weak for the dollar. So this is going to have impact if you trade anything with USD in the symbol. Euro USD, gold, XAU USD, right? GBP USD, USD JPY, USD CHF. If you trade any of those sort of markets, we need to be on high alert because the spikes that can come with NFP can be very, very dramatic. So speaking of NFP, let's take a look real quick at forexfactory.com and see what the numbers have us for today. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Unemployment has been dropping, and we're expecting it to continue to drop. In fact, if we take a look at the unemployment rate here in the US, a dropping in the unemployment is good, right? So of course, when we had pandemic stuff happen, that caused a major spike in unemployment. You could see here in May 2020, we shot up to, what is that, 14.7 roughly. So 14.7% unemployment. And then we have been steadily dropping overall since then. Now, today's figure, we are expecting that drop to continue. So that's kind of what everybody is expecting. And you can kind of see the figure right here. So the previous, we had a 3.8% reading, and the forecast for today is 3.7. If this comes at 3.9, why did I write it 2? Am I an idiot? There we go. 3.9, 3.9%, right? What would that do? That would cause the dollar to probably drop, right? Because that would be not so good. If there was higher unemployment, because higher unemployment, not good, right? Higher unemployment, bad. Lower unemployment, good. So when we put into perspective what we're kind of anticipating here, why this stuff matters if you are trading Forex on an active scale, is that this could cause some strength or weakness to come into the dollar. So for example, if this figure comes out at, like, let's say let's say a wild number, 3.4%. If we come out at 3.4%, hey, that's a big deal. That would be really strong for the dollar, and we could see some dramatic follow through on the dollar. And that's really what matters, you guys, because the spike itself is cool. Some people will trade around the spike and that sort of thing. But what's really cool is when you get something and then it actually has a lot of follow through. And usually what causes a lot of follow through in the currency market is a big surprise on the news. So this is really what we're interested in, is can we get some surprising numbers? Now, on top of the percentage here, the unemployment percentage, another thing I want you guys to consider is that this number here, your employment change, this is the number of jobs created in the US. Right now, we're forecasting 492K. If that comes out less than expected, that would be worse. More than expected would be considered good. So there's your top level view. This is the news. We will probably come back to this page to see what the numbers are as we get going. But let's jump over to the charts. We'll see what's going on over here on the screen here. We'll take a look at the dollar first. So let's look at the dollar here together. And what we can see here is that USD is on the rise here this morning. So a little bit of optimism prior to the news. The question is this going to last? And what I think we have to start with is that if we scroll out on the 4-hour chart, we've got an upward trend, right? In fact, if you look at the daily chart, we've got an upward trend. So the first thing I want us to understand here is that the overall bias for the dollar, for me, is to the upside. However, this news is going to probably cause some short-term volatility. So if we take a look at this and we kind of zoom back in, so there's our daily chart, right? Daily chart, very strong upward trend of the dollar. Things are healthy here. We've consolidated a little bit here. We haven't shown massive signs of, break out the other direction. If that starts to happen, which, we'll see what happens with the news. But if that starts to happen, maybe we change our tone. But for the time being, the dollar is still attractive. It's still strong. And I'm not going to try and assume a low or assume a high and try and call a top or something like that. So let's take a look back down at the 4-hour chart and let's talk about something here. So it seems like we've rejected here. And if we make a strong dollar case today, if we have jobs numbers come out and they are positive for USD, I would say we're probably going to see the USD make a rally point up to this previous top. I think it's a very, very logical place for price to go. So what does that look like on an intraday chart? Let's look at the 1-hour chart and see what's going on here. So we kind of have this area. We have a little bit of rejection here at where we currently sit, 98.5. So 98.5 seems to be a little bit of a tough spot for price as we wait on the news. And this makes complete sense, right? You probably have a lot of traders who are looking at the USD today and they're saying, hey, you know what? I got to see some sort of break or some sort of decisive move from the news itself. So that's kind of what we're waiting on here. We're looking at this and we're saying, can we get that breakout? And this is the trade that I kind of like. I like the idea of a breakout and continuation play on the USD. That could definitely be something to pay attention to as we get started here today. So now that we've looked at the USD, now that we've looked at it from a top-down perspective here for a second, let's take a look at some individual currency pairs. So again, right now we've found support, we're rallying, we're sitting at resistance, but we'd like to see probably some sort of breakout. That would be, in my opinion, the more preferable trade setup. However, if you're bearish, then maybe looking for some sort of break back the other way. There could be some intraday stuff for sure. So again, with news, we don't know what the numbers are going to be. We're waiting on the numbers just like everybody else. But what those new numbers tell us could give us some trade setups, some momentum ideas to play out throughout the intraday action. Speaking of that, let's take a look at Euro USD. Some of you guys know I have been bearish on this pair and looking for an opportunity to short this. In fact, what we're going to do is we're going to start fresh on this chart. So if we look at the 4-hour chart first, the first thing I want you to know, for those of you guys who are euro dollar traders, if you trade Euro USD, is we've got this, kind of tough spot, right? Where we found resistance. We tried to sell off here. It didn't work out too beautifully, but we still, remember, we scroll out of this chart. What do we notice here? We still have a strong downwards trend. In fact, if you apply your moving averages and you go to like the daily chart, for example, you can kind of see we've still got a downward trend. Remember, it can be very easy to get caught up in the short term and look at, a bullish move. And sure, maybe there's some bullish trades that are something to think about. But as we rally here, just remember that the overall strength here to the downside is there, right? It is oppressing, right? And that could change, but I don't want to try and assume as we, near sell zones to try and assume that it's going to rally, because I think you start tapping into some very low probability trades that could get us into some trouble. So keeping that in mind, keeping the fact that, okay, yes, higher time frame, we've got some sellers interested, it seems like. The idea here being, if we see some sort of pullback, maybe there's an opportunity either during the news or somewhere around this for a possible trade. So let's assume for a second, let's make a big assumption and say, what if this is what if that's the low, right? That could be very, very interesting to look for potential continuation plays. Guys, give me 1 second. I want to make sure that the door is unlocked for my team members before they try and get in here. So, do me a favor, while we are here, comment what you guys are watching during NFP, and I'll be right back. Just give me like 10 seconds. Yeah, I just had to make sure it was unlocked. Okay, they got it. No worries. I just want to make sure that the door wasn't locked on them, but they're all set. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So what I was saying about Euro USD, I want to see what you guys were thinking. So some people said they're watching gold, Aussie CAD for buys. Aussie CAD, okay. Aussie CAD, probably not. I mean, I guess maybe it could move a little bit off of some sympathy from NFP, but Aussie CAD, not as interesting. USD JPY. Yep, Franco, I like that. Chair stream, yes. You guys got a good look at my chair. It's a nice chair. Spent a lot of money on this chair. AUD USD, okay. Some people want to look at Aussie dollar. Sure, we could take a look at that. USD JPY sells. UJ. Okay, yeah, you know what? We'll take a look at AUD USD here for a second. We will take a look at some things that you guys probably want to see here in just a moment. Things like gold will be on the table. We'll take a look at some other USD pairs. So let's take a look at Aussie dollar here. So Aussie dollar, here's the thing about Aussie dollar, right? Aussie dollar, if we compare this thing to something right now, I want to do something with you guys. Where's my compare? Did they change where this compare is? They did. Okay, let's look at the S&P 500 and let's compare it. Okay, so guys, check this out. The S&P 500 is in orange. This is the stock market, and the stock market has been having a good rally, right? We have seen an atmosphere where risk on is coming back onto the table. Meanwhile, the Aussie dollar has also been following suit. Now, a little bit of divergence here, but overall, still kind of following along. And what this tells me is that Aussie dollar, respecting the upward trend, respecting the strength of the stock market and kind of going with it, and you can see it does have some level of correlation. You can see going down together, going up together, right? You have some correlation there. If you think that the stock market is going to continue to rally, perhaps you're looking at Aussie dollar in the currency market. This is where markets cross over. Markets are not, they're not, some people, they want to just trade currencies. They want to trade just stocks, but that's not really how markets truly work. They all have factors that they share and commonalities that they can, all be exploited. So when we look at Aussie dollar, I would say that I am not necessarily bullish on this thing because I don't love the idea of shorting the dollar when it's still in a strong upward trend. But I still kind of prefer the Aussie for the time being. And that's kind of a weird thing to say, but if you're looking at this thing from a technical analysis standpoint, here's your 4-hour view. But if we drop it down to the lower time frames, looking at the 1-hour chart here with you guys, if you get a breakout here today, there may be some excellent risk reward trades. And again, it's not necessarily that we want a short dollar, but that Aussie seems very strong in light of a strengthening stock market. So you put this concept together. I kind of like this idea of a stop inside of the range with some sort of good risk reward. And again, the key factor here is looking for some sort of positive strength on the news, some sort of catalyst. And again, we want some sort of follow through. And to get follow through, what I generally look for is I look for a candle that closes strong, because sometimes what you guys will see on the news, and maybe we'll see it today. What I don't like to see on news is when you get something like this, where it's just a big wick in either direction and things don't really go anywhere, right? We don't like to see that because that's just a whole bunch of fake outs and stops and things like that. And it gets messy very quickly. What I personally like to see on an NFP release, ideally, would be strength one way or the other, so that we could potentially look for follow through. So let's say, we're coming up into a resistance point as we watch the news. So for those of you guys who are watching things like AUD USD and we're coming up into resistance, this is a moment where we need to make a decision, right? We need to see if this candle can either close bullish, give us that strength, and then we look for continuation buys. Or if we reject sharply, if the news is not good for, or maybe in this case, very good for the dollar and causes this market to come down, then maybe we start looking at that from a 15-minute chart, 30-minute chart to trade the way back down, right? And then with targets in mind down here. So this is what I mean. We're being adaptive. We're trying to wait for what the markets are telling us. We're trying to ride the momentum that the market offers us, not trying to assume what's going to happen. So I'm actually pretty neutral on this pair and could perhaps look for trades in both directions, which is something that I rarely will do, but I like both the Aussie and the dollar. And if there's some short-term momentum either ways, there could be some trade setups. So I actually like this pair as a watch list market to consider. Let's continue on though. We've got to take a look at some other currencies. Here's USD JPY. And if you're looking at the dollar yen, a couple things to consider. We seem to have found a good level of support here. We are still very, very strong here, you guys. For those of you guys watching dollar yen, this is still what I would call a very, very strong upward trend. And, fighting this, although, it can be tempting because it looks like, oh, it's too high, it's going to come back down. Maybe it will come back down. But for me, the path of least resistance has to still be to the upside. And if I start placing on some targets, if I start looking at the ideas here, again, this is not a guarantee. When it comes to trading, there's no such thing as guarantees. There's only probabilities. There's only decisions that can be made with a probabilistic standpoint. There is no such thing as, oh, well, the dollar yen is in an uptrend, so it's definitely going to go higher. That's not how this works. However, when you start dropping it down on the lower time frames, you've got some supportive levels, you've got higher lows coming into this market, things look healthy. And for me, target wise, we could make a move back up to levels like this, which we just talked about on the 1-hour chart, looking pretty interesting. You've got, I guess let's tighten that up a little bit. You've got this zone here. So if we start breaking out, which we've already kind of shown this counter trend to be beaten up a little bit. This is looking bullish to me, honestly. So dollar yen, upward trend. And again, maybe we get a surprise news that causes us to come back down. But for the time being, I am remaining bullish on this pair, with the idea being we could make a move on up to 123.16, 124.13. So that's my thoughts there on dollar yen. So again, I would ideally, there's a couple things I'd like to look at with the dollar yen. Maybe if we get a poke back up into this, down into this area, you've got ideas of stop loss below lows. I think this is not terrible. And then you're talking about risk to reward that, again, I like it. I like the idea of a move back up to structure here, right? And then perhaps even going for the big one, right? The move back to the previous high. So let's actually just add that one in. So this actually has 3 targets that I'm keeping in mind for the dollar yen. So I don't hate it. I kind of like this one for potential long side action. Again, we had this counter trend, but remember, the overall trend is to the upside. So we broke out. We've now consolidated near a support zone. And I think that it's very possible that we could see some stuff like this. So I like it. I like dollar yen long. That's an opinion from me. again, we'll see. It's probably going to be better to look at this after the NFP news because, again, the NFP spike can be kind of crazy, and that's my personal approach. But will be better to bet on a retracement post NFP. I'm with you. That's kind of how I would approach it, right? So I'm looking for retracements, but I'd like to see some sort of confidence from the market. Guys, we've got NFP in 10 minutes. This is going to be really, really exciting. So don't go anywhere. We're going to watch the spike together. We're going to pull it up on the screen so you guys can see, and then we'll watch it and look for setups as the NFP is happening or as the news is happening. So a couple more pairs that I would like to look at. We will take a look at gold, so don't go anywhere. Gold will be on the table. We haven't looked at pound dollar. So pound dollar, similar story here. Let's start fresh here with pound dollar. So pound dollar, similar story to Aussie dollar. I'm kind of neutral on this pair, meaning I could potentially trade momentum in either direction with this. So if I'm looking at this, I'm looking at, okay, 1.312. Maybe if we see a break back lower, if we see some strong USD today, perhaps there's that to think about. But for the time being, I am actually kind of bullish on the pound. So I would actually be interested in perhaps looking at some pound pairs on the long side, looking for something like this, looking for continuations. I have talked about the pound as potential targets. If we do continue to see this kind of higher low series, I think we probably see a move up to 1.3162. And in yesterday's stream, I also talked about this previous high. So I like that. I think that there's some upside there for the pound dollar, if not immediately, perhaps on the dip today. If we see some opportunity to get a discount, maybe there is some hope for the pound dollar bulls. But again, guys, we've got 9 minutes here until the release. If you're new to the stream, make sure to thumbs it up. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming here to the future streams. In 9 minutes, we're going to watch the release of the news. And with that release, we'll have the spike. And the spike could be up, it could be down. We don't know because, again, going back to our news numbers just for a second, we have expectations. But what matters is what those expectations actually become. What they actually come out as will have implications on what the market does next. Will it rally? Will it go, south? Things like that. Quick look at USD CHF, of course, another USD pair, and we'll take a look at that, see what's going on here. So let's do this. Let me just pull up the dollar Swiss franc, and I'm going to scroll out daily chart. So daily chart, really choppy. I wanted some follow through here. You can see I hadn't traded it during this at all. But then right here, you can see some blue arrows from my broker. I did go long. I think I took a break even and a loss on the dollar Swiss franc because this thing looked like it was trying to break out. But this is the tough part about trading a very choppy market. And that is exactly what the dollar Swiss franc is. Dollar Swiss franc, my favorite pair for range trading. That's just a little fun fact. I like range trading on it, but I don't love the idea of trading it for trends unless it really strongly breaks out. I took the trades and unfortunately did not kind of work out there. So I am going to be a little bit cautious going into today. If you're looking at dollar Swiss, this thing seems to be kind of just working its way back down into this channel. So I don't have a lot of interest in here for the dollar Swiss franc. That's just my personal opinion. Doesn't have an effect on GJ. It can, yes. Because the yen can be impacted by, this. The yen is a big safe haven currency. If the markets are, becoming more risk on or more risk off, that's going to impact the yen. So when we look at things, we talked about dollar yen, potential buys, potential long side action. Look at the daily chart for dollar yen. I mean, this does look a bit extended, but remember, currencies can go a lot longer than people think. And what is the RSI telling us on this? We didn't quite tap anywhere near oversold. So it is an aggressive buy. But if you're looking, the thing is, right, even if a market seems overextended, if there's a setup and the setup makes sense, the cool thing is that you can still get good risk reward and still trade something like this. So again, we go back down to the 1 hour chart. I like this little consolidation point as a shelf to put potential stops underneath, that sort of thing. Guys, we've got 715 people in here. Thank you for being here. If you're enjoying the stream, make sure to hit that thumbs up. I think it's time that we do gold here. And in just a moment, guys, we're going to do a giveaway. Yesterday, we gave away $100 to someone in the chat. We're going to do another giveaway here. We've got it setting up in the other room. We'll be doing the wheel in just a second. Let's take a look at gold here before we do that. And once that wheel is ready, we'll jump over in the other room and see who's going to be spinning the wheel for us today. So we have a big wheel. It's literally crazy. We have a big wheel and it's got prizes on it, cash prizes. Our VIP is on the line. We have software tools available for traders, all sorts of cool stuff. Guys, we got 6 minutes here until the news. So let's kind of hurry this stuff up. Let's take a look at the gold market and see what we can get going here. So gold, I'm going to have to look at this thing lower time frame because 4-hour chart, we're pretty choppy. 1-hour chart, higher lows coming into this market. Question is, can we get another one here today? If this starts finding a rounding bottom, if we start seeing a breakout here on things like the 15-minute chart, maybe there's some short-term stuff. Maybe there's a breakout here in line. Watch for something like this. If the news comes out strong, maybe some breakout continuation plays. If you're looking at gold right now, of course, we don't know what the news is going to be, but right now we're kind of in a bearish structure here on the 15-minute chart. We're watching to see if we can either break out, right? Continuation ideas, or if this thing is just going to round back down. And we're going to have to kind of wait to see what the news does. So for example, let's say on the news, we get something like this. We get a big move back down, like very strong USD, and we're underneath the lows. Retest sells. That's how I would approach that, right? That's just my personal opinion. I'm waiting for the news because this thing could spike and then go back. And so I'm not going to try and trade the release, but I would be interested in looking for, off of the news, trading the momentum. For example, a similar idea would be, can we break outside of a range like this area here? So for example, in this case, can we get a big bust to the upside, pullback, continuations? That idea becomes interesting. And in that case, you have that concept as well. Okay, guys, I think it's time we do the wheel. We've got 5 minutes until the release, and there's 770 people here watching the stream between our two channels. If you're enjoying the stream, make sure to thumbs it up, and we're going to get the wheel set up here in just a moment here. And once that's ready, what we're going to do is we are going to explain the rules. We're going to spin the wheel, and we're going to give some money. Check it out. Okay, so here is the rule. Before we jump into the wheel, here's how you got to do it. Number one, you've got to subscribe to our Telegram. It's free to do. There's technical analysis tips and ideas, as well as trade setups shared every single day in our Telegram. So first things first, grab the link that we're going to drop in the chat to our Telegram channel. Again, we're giving away some potential cash prizes and things like that right now. So before we do the news. So number one, subscribe to our Telegram channel. We're going to be putting a link in the chat right now to get access to that. That should be awesome. So there's the link, or to send a message to Drew, but let me get the Telegram link. So Telegram link for everybody to join. So step one, remember, you got to join the Telegram. So let me make sure I get that. Let me see if I copied that over. Here's the link to join the Telegram. So link is in the chat there to join the Telegram. So you've got to, step one, you can't win unless you join the Telegram, because we're trying to get people going in there and hanging out with us. So join the Telegram. The link is in the chat right now. So that's step one. And step number two is to send a message to our team member, Drew, here in the chat. Let's now drop a link to send a message to Drew. He's going to be the one to send a message giveaway to. Whoever sends the message giveaway, we're going to randomly select someone to get the prize, whatever the prize is. Okay. There we go. So everybody send your message to Drew to enter into the prize giveaway. It is dropped in the screen there right now. So send a message to Drew. Okay, whenever we're ready, we can turn on the camera and Emily can take over from here. We'll spin to select today's winner. All right, there we go. Hey Emily, let's do it. Guys, here's Emily. She's going to spin the wheel, and we're going to see what you guys get. We're giving something away today. It's going to be fun. If it's $100 a day, okay, it is. All right, the XMR indicator, very, very cool. So the XMR indicator is used for finding extreme measurements in the Forex market. So very cool tool for MT4, and that is awesome. So thank you very much for playing, you guys. So we give away something every day on stream, so that's pretty fun. We've got 2 minutes until the news, so let's thank Emily in the chat. Remember, send a message to Drew to enter into the giveaway. All you got to do is send the word giveaway to Drew on Telegram, and we will go from there. Let's head back over to the charts now, guys, and get ready for the release. Of course, we've got NFP here in just a minute and a half. Thank you to the team, by the way, for coming in early today to give you guys some free stuff. That's always fun. So big shout out to the team. So we're looking at gold here prior to the news. We've got a little bit of rejection happening here on the trend line. So for the time being, we're watching to see if we can break out. For me, I want to see either this move or this move set up before I'm interested in gold, because I kind of don't want to try and anticipate what's going to happen with the NFP spike. Again, we've got 1 minute until the spike is set to happen. So That's a big deal. So we're gonna give it some time here. We're gonna take a look at some pairs. Let's see. Can I do a split screen mode? And am I gonna have time to set it up? Yes, I am. Okay, euro dollar. We'll take a look at gold here. We'll put, and again, we got 45 seconds. So I'm setting on my screen so you guys can watch the spike with me. We're setting up 15-minute charts on things like gold, the pound dollar, and let's put up dollar yen here on the last one. So we've got dollar yen, we've got euro dollar, we've got gold, we've got pound dollar. So there's your split screen, guys. We'll watch it together and we'll see what happens here with the news release. Make sure to smash the thumbs up button if you enjoyed today's stream. This has been fun. We got 20 seconds until the news. Don't go anywhere. We've got to talk about post news because that's probably even more important than the actual spike itself, in my personal opinion. So we got 5 seconds here, give or take. Let's see what is happening here. All right. And the results are coming in now. So let's see what we get. So a little bit of euro dollar not moving too much yet. Pound dollar not moving too much. Dollar yen giving a little bit back here on the 15-minute chart. Maybe a delayed response from the market. By the way, you guys, if anybody has the numbers, please drop them in the chat. Eddie says NFP was 431 versus 490. What was the expected? Was the expected dollar yen making a move higher here, euro dollar coming down a little bit. The expected was 492. So 431 versus an expected 490. Thank you for that number. If anybody has more numbers for us, please drop them in the chat. What was the unemployment rate, by the way? If somebody can pull that up for us, that would be awesome. We'll give this some time here. Sometimes there's a delayed move, so we'll kind of just give it a second here. So USD JPY finding that bottom, continuing to make its move off of the lows here. Definitely what we were talking about here. A little bit of strength coming in for the dollar yen. Definitely my most interested right now. Gold not reacting too much just yet, but there it goes, kind of swinging down on the 15-minute chart. We see a little bit of sell pressure coming in here on the open or on this candle here. So again, new candle, 15-minute chart, popping a little bit up to the downside, up and then falling to the downside. So giving it some time here. Pound dollar coming down to the lows. Very interesting little move back down lower for the pound dollar. As we mentioned, perhaps a little bit of an opportunity if you're biased on the upside on pound dollar, maybe looking at that. Unemployment was 3.6%. Thank you for that, Franco. 0.4%, 431K jobs, 3.6 unemployment. Thank you, Andrew. Okay, yeah. So it seems like we had 3.6 better than forecasted on unemployment, but less jobs created. So kind of a mixed NFP. And what do you do with a mixed NFP? Here's what I'll do with a mixed NFP. I'll use it as a setup to pick up positions that I want to take. So again, maybe not the most exciting in terms of a spike, but excellent for possible pullbacks and ideas to be going with. So look at this, our gold idea, we're headed back to lows. And let's actually zoom in on this gold move for a second here, talk a little bit about what we're seeing happening right here on, let's take a look at XAU USD and check this out, you guys. That 15-minute chart that we discussed, we are coming down to the lows. I'm curious to see if we can get a move underneath. If there's a move underneath, there may be continuation plays on gold to the downside here. And if gold sinks a little bit, past this level, I think your first stop in terms of a short-term trade could be a move back down to levels like this. So there's probably some decent risk to reward looking at an idea. If this is, of course, if we can actually hold our moves here to the downside. If there's something like this, perhaps some good risk to reward looking at something like that. But again, we've got to see if there's actually follow through on any of these pairs. Here's Euro USD. Euro dollar still sinking lower here on the news and breaking today's low. Let's see if we can make some same principle applies looking at Euro USD. We're underneath today's lows. So that's kind of a big deal. So if we see, we've got the break of the daily low, if there's pullback opportunities intraday, perhaps there's something. In terms of Euro dollar targets, we've talked about this. I think that euro dollar has a potential to make a move back down to 1.10 and then possibly even 1.0987, give or take. This concept here where we started this kind of explosive move. If we're basically fading that, a move back down to that level makes a lot of sense to me. So that's my opinion. USD JPY long for sure. Yeah, very strong move. Didn't move at all. Nicholas, yeah. So what we had, the reason for that is we had mixed news. We had some positive, some negative. At least that's what it seems like. If I take a look here, unemployment rate, let me see if I can just refresh the page. So the thing with NFP, right, we never know what we're going to get. Sometimes we're going to get crazy moves. Sometimes we don't get much of a spike at all. It just depends what the news comes out as. And what we saw today completely makes sense. We saw better than forecasted and worse than forecasted. And this is what we would call conflicting news. And when you get something where we have less jobs created, but the overall unemployment rate comes down, that's positive and negative mixed, means it's not much of a big spike. What's usually causing a spike is when there's a big surprise and everything is one way, right? All bad or all good, that sort of thing. Real unemployment rate, 6.9%, significantly under 7.2 last time. Gold, what about gold? Yep, we were just looking at gold. Gold trying to break underneath the lows. The question will be if we can actually make a push down and actually gain traction to hold underneath. Doesn't seem like we had much of that at all. So same concept applies as what we started the stream with, waiting for some sort of continuation one way or the other, but not seeing it too much on gold. So this one for me is a sideline play. There's nothing to do with gold just yet, and seems like a relatively quiet start to NFP. Let's look at AUD USD coming down a little bit off the highs. So perhaps if you're looking at Aussie dollar, if you're looking intraday, watching for either, if you're bullish, you're looking for possibly a buy there. If you are bearish, right? And this is, for me, this is tough because I wouldn't be super bullish looking at this, even though it's a nice level. You've got big resistance sitting up here. So I personally would be a little bit cautious looking at that to the upside. That would just be my take on this for now. Guys, it's time to bring in the heavy guns. We're bringing in Ivan to help us out here because Lord knows I need it. Mr. Ivan, hey, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Everybody knows Ivan already. If you don't know him, where you been? Ivan is a friend of mine. He's a fellow trader and a team member inside of the A1 trading community as one of our head analysts. So, Ivan, how are you doing today, sir?
Oh, I'm doing well. It's been a good week. Been a lot of work with your guys this week. So then yeah.
Well, Ivan, so what do you take on all this stuff that just happened? I was just trying to explain it. Someone said, yeah, there wasn't a spike at all. What causes a no spike situation? What's the idea behind that?
The difference from expectation to the actual number is low. If it's less than 50,000 on NFP in difference, the market is going to be ranging or spike a little and then back up again and then end up no change, generally speaking. Right. We have also seen like 200,000 difference, and that has really moved the market. So today it's just too little difference, basically.
Right. No, and I'm with you. And that's the thing, right? You had, looking at the numbers one more time, we had 3.6% in terms of an unemployment rate, whereas the non-farm employment change itself came out, instead of a forecasted 490, we got 430. So a bit of mixed data, a bit of a confliction there. Is there anything that you're looking at in reference to this, Ivan? Is there anything that piques your interest, perhaps on a pullback? Is there anything that you're looking at market-wise right now? If you want to share your screen, I'd be curious to see what you're thinking about.
Yeah, I should always do that. Now, also, what I'm thinking, what I see, and I'm getting excited. I'm sorry, but what I see is, this thing to go higher. It has a bit of a drop, so I posted a new entry here earlier today. So I'm really into S&P. Mostly because the euro dollar is like, I don't know, it doesn't really perform. It's a bit random. So I've given up on my euro falling, though my outlook is still dollar bullish, and it seems like we're still going to get it. But my overall view for S&P 500 is a very strong April. So I'm happy that it's high. I'm happy that it has fallen a bit back, and I'm happy that it hasn't crashed yet.
Nice. Okay, so S&P 500 strong for April. So are you in two trades? Did you just re-enter your trade? What's your positioning on it?
I don't know how many. I think I have 5.
Okay, so You've added on the way up kind of thing.
I've been adding, and now it's been adding today as well. So I probably added, well, I bought in this area, and I bought in this area, I bought this area, I bought that area, and I bought today. That's how my chart looks like.
So very aggressive. All right. I like it. So Ivan, at what point are you, do you have a stop in mind? Is your stop very wide on this? What's your thought on holding on to a trade like this?
4,400,000. Yeah, 4,400 give or take is my stop loss. On some other trades, and some others I have 4,300. So wide stops.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think
but the lot size is mini.
Sure. So, no, yeah. And that's usually when I trade the S&P. I try and keep that positioning size small. Just a little side note for those of you guys who are in the US, we have a lot of limitations on trading US indices in the Forex market, but we can trade it on the stock market. So I've fortunately have kind of figured out a way to do that with a little bit less risk, because the lot size and contract size on the Forex market for S&P and things like US 30 is pretty crazy. So you got to be pretty careful, especially people with smaller trading accounts out there. So anything else, Ivan? So you're looking at the S&P 500, you're bullish on it. I'm kind of with you on that in the short term. I think it's got some nice strength there to it. I would be, do you think we're headed back to the highs in April? Like, how far do you think it runs in April? Do you have any gauge on that, or do you have targets in mind?
4,900.
Okay.
Is my target.
Okay. What's the reasoning or idea behind that?
Next month pivot point, monthly target. I believe since April is going to be the best month of the year, generally speaking, then we need to have a higher high. We had, what was it last year? Was it 20% increase or something like that in April? Mm-hmm. It was substantial. But if we then have a maybe a 2 or 3% rise, then that is not more than just up to the peak. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So 4,900. That is a break past the highs. So that's a new high for April. That's what you're thinking as a possibility. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So is there anything else? What about? Do you have any opinions on things like commodities, gold, staying out of there? What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, my gold friends. I said, once it passed up there, 1962, I said, well, this should go to 2000. And how wrong was I?
It happens. It happens to the best of us, guys. If Ivan can get it wrong, you guys, we can all get it wrong. So don't worry on that. That shouldn't feel bad. No, that's cool. So we tried to poke higher, failed out a little bit there. And what's your thoughts on it now?
Right now, I'm just as this range it is, I am super defensive on it. I'm just waiting for it to tell me a trend, and this is not a trend. This was a trend. Now it's no longer trending. So I am super just waiting. Let the market speak. Let that do the first dancing steps, and just follow it in tango, and there might be something in the future, but definitely right now it is as paused as it can get.
Okay. Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Like, gold for me has just been, it was interesting for about a 2-month window there for me, but then it just no longer was. I was super bullish on it. It was a very rare time, bullish on dollar, bullish on gold, but both reasonings made sense to me at that time. So, so you're not super interested in gold. Same with you there. Dollar, I don't know. I've been kind of conflicted with the dollar. Of course, it hasn't broken structure to the downside or anything like that, but the dollar itself has become a little bit of a not as super interesting play to me right now, considering that we've kind of entered back into risk on. There are other currencies that are piquing my interest. There are things that are kind of catching up on the race a little bit and could perhaps outperform the dollar in a up market.
Is this one you're talking about?
No. I tried.
No, it wasn't. Oh, sorry. Is that the one you were talking about?
No, I like pound yen right now.
You didn't buy pound Swissie this week?
This week I don't think I did. Last week I tried. Last week I think I tried and it didn't work out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
pound Swiss was hopeful, but
Yeah.
didn't quite work out the way I was hoping for. This one, I don't know. So risk on, right? We're risk on. The S&P 500 is making a move higher. We had peace talks. What's going on with pound Swiss? Why is pound Swiss? And I guess it's kind of the Ukraine stuff as well, but still CHF. Why is CHF so strong?
The market has decided Swiss should be strong. Doesn't really matter. They have come to conclusion through the analysis that Swiss should be strong. We might be buying a lot of pharmaceuticals. We might be buying a lot of gold, a lot of watches. I have not really figured out why, but that's what they have done. So much that the Swiss National Bank are selling.
Interesting. And that's not their first time either.
Strong.
Yeah, they've done that, on several occasions. So interesting to hear that they're kind of back on that, sell our own currency kind of thing, get it down. But yeah, so the Swiss pairs have not been so nice to me recently, but the yen pairs have been pretty good to me. So I don't know, Euro Swiss. Is this a pair that you ever look at, or is this just?
No, I'm just explaining it. If you see coming down to parity, down, boom, and that is the clearest thing that they're in the market still, ringing the bell and trying to. And if the market tries to go down there again, it's as clear as Santa Claus coming on Christmas.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. They'd probably support their thesis there a little bit. Okay, yeah. So what do you think on yen pairs? Are there any ones that you're and euro yen? Is that something that you're looking at?
No, I just posted it. I just found it. Okay. I can do pound yen, we can do euro yen, we can do CAD yen. It's still yen. What we have been doing lately is incredible move. Paused. We have peaked for CAD at 100, which is quite significant, and we haven't been back there since 15. So right now, for a market to have a pause is very natural. Now, right now, you are looking into 1 hour, maybe a higher high. Maybe we'll get some small bullish pressure, but I still believe somewhere in me that the move higher might not peak, because that, to me, the price action tells me we have peaked in terms of short term, in terms of we have really pushed, and then we just exploded, and then now but air has gone out of the balloon. So for me right now, I want to buy it, but
I get it. I do too. And I have one position open, my GJ trade. If we want to switch to my screen just for a second. So this is my one trade on yen pairs. And I knew when I took it that it was pretty aggressive, because you scroll out on this thing, you look at the 4-hour chart, this thing has really extended itself. But my thought process with this was, okay, we've got a level here. I'm going to give it a shot. The idea of buying the pullback here with stops below. I took a break-even trade on this. I took a loss, and now I finally got a trade that's actually kind of making a move here. But it's like you were saying, there's a bit of a risk in the sense that we've run very high, big sell pressure came in. But again, the upside potential for me at this point was still worth taking the risk, right? So I put my stops right there. I'm at 1-to-1, so I've got break even at the worst case. It was an attempt. If it does run higher, Ivan, the risk to reward on this would be amazing. We'll see if it happens. It could be a false hope idea, but this is my one trade that I'm in right now, and the idea here, a little bit of a breakout there, counter trend. We had the counter trend come in. We had the major trend still kind of in play. So my thought process is risk to reward wise, I like it. Breakout, it's aggressive. I know it's a bit late in the trend, but we'll see if we can catch maybe the crazy run higher. You never know with yen pairs. They can be very, very wild. So that's my thought. What's your thoughts on pound yen? You think I'm getting stopped out?
For those who are from my channel, who knows my humor, these glasses, they know what I'm talking about. If you in the chat can tell me what on earth does this move, it means that you are in the danger zone. You're playing risky, bro. I love it. I love it. But you're definitely in the danger zone.
I knew it was risky when I took it. I knew it was aggressive, but I like pound yen long. I don't know. It's risk on for me. The yen is oversold like crazy. I know that, but it's a momentum play. And for me, being at break even, if it happens, I'll truthfully be a little sad, but I won't be heartbroken because I know, I am playing with fire a little bit here.
Yeah, so I understand. I see it. I'm going to spend the weekend to find out my yen buys for April. I know on Monday, if we find a low, it's going to make a small low. Yen pairs are going to go higher. The only question I'm going to figure out is how high.
Yep.
How long.
Yep.
So you're on the right trade. You're on the right trend for some short term. And I need to figure out if I also want to be in it for the whole of April. And then you will probably find me, maybe you'll find me buying it on Monday as well.
Yeah. I mean, pound yen, like I said, when I took the trade, I was like, this is definitely, the yen is overextended to the downside. We've seen a bit of a bounce and it could be just a big buyer's rally, but I still kind of wanted to be a buyer of the pound. And it's risk on. So I know it's very aggressive risk on, but it's what I'm looking at right now. So we'll see. We might be stopped out by Monday. By the time you get in, maybe you'll buy my position from me. But that's where I'm at with pound yen. What's your thoughts on dollar yen? You like dollar yen better or worse?
Oh, this is you. This is how you trade, right? This is you trade. I hate this.
I'm a wild man. I trade.
You are out there being wild. You took this. All the honor to you. All the honor to you. I would say that the only thing that you guys as a buyer need to be aware of is 123.30 level. This level here is resistance. So as long as we haven't broken above that, we can go slowly up or fast up. But if this is still holding as the roof, that is the key level to be broken if you're going to see continuation to the upside. So if you see any pushback from that level, that might be actually a sell. But
that makes
by all
sense.
means, so far had a small pullback, had a higher high. I still don't like the price action. I still don't like. So the thing that I want to see, Nick, is if we peak, we take profit, we fall hard down, find the level, take the profit again for sells, bring it back up again.
Yeah.
Not really a lot of move, but like clear trend up, down. Right now, is it up? Is it down? I don't know. What if it's not? That's where I say, hold on. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
That doesn't work for me.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like I said, I looked at the yen pairs. They definitely had seemed to turn a little bit there. And I knew that when I got into pound yen, it was like, I know that it's not that it was like a low probability trade for me because I liked the setup. Retail sentiment was incredibly bearish on the pair. There was a lot of stuff that I lined up for the trade. I just kept my stop tight because I knew that, if it breaks down, it's probably going to just continue to roll over on GJ. But my stop was right below this point here. I moved that stop this morning to break even. So at this point, I can't lose money on the trade unless we, gap open like way down here. That would suck. But, the idea there being that as long as this trade, if it does come back, I'm out for break even. And if it does come back, I don't really want to be in it anyways. Because again, I'm looking for something here. When I take a trade like this, my process with this is it's going to either continue quick or I'm out of there. Like I'm actually asking a lot for the market to do because my thought process with this is, okay, yes, we've extended ourselves and we've come back to a spot of support. If this support breaks, I'm out of there so fast. I am just on vacation by the time it's out of there. Like I'm gone. Because the thing is, if this thing breaks underneath that low, we probably run back down to the next level. And that level is far away. So I've got to be very careful with that in terms of a stop. The idea, though, is that if it moves higher, there's sometimes just this stupid, impulsive run that the market will do after a quick pullback like this that, sometimes I'll catch, and it's the big one. So that's kind of what I'm looking at on GJ. I know it's asking a lot, but we'll see if we can catch a runner here. I'd like to see Ideally, a break above the structure here, 161. That would kind of be triggers for me to try and start moving the stop a little bit and lock in a little bit of the trade. But it is an aggressive trade.
What about pound dollar?
So I still love the dollar. I got a soft spot. It's hard for me to short the dollar still, but I still think that the pound dollar has seen a bit of recovery. And in terms of risk on sentiment, I still like it. The pound dollar is tough for me because I don't want to really short the dollar, but the pound itself, I like in a risk on environment right now. So as we pull back to support, as we pull back to structure, maybe there's some arguable buys, but context is key here. And you look at the daily chart, we still have a very downward trend. So I don't know. What do you think? I'm very mixed on the pound dollar.
I'm mixed too. It looked like a fantastic reversal pattern last week, and like we have some double bottoms, higher highs, and then that was I can't remember what that was. That was Bank of England actually. That red candle there, and bought the bottom, made a high, made up the target, and then we just saw sort of falling back down again. And for the past couple of days, just been in a small range, but I don't know why I see the upside. I don't think I see the upside. Maybe it's because I see the reversal. I'm like, I see what you're trying to do. But the but here is retail traders, 70% of them have bought it. Of those of IG clients who have a trade in pound dollar.
Yeah. And, that was actually my part of the reason I looked at pound yen a little bit closer is when I pulled up retail sentiment, I was seeing the same thing. Pound yen, very short biased. At least it was a week ago. We'll see what it is. Yeah, still short biased. Pound dollar, very long biased. So that's where I was like, okay, I'm going to be cautious with this pound dollar, even though I do like the pound right now. It's, again, a little bit of a speculative play with the pound. But again, stock market's rallying. I think that the pound has some possible catch up to play in the currency world. So that's my thought process on it. I'll look for the setup. If it gets into play and there's a good risk reward kind of idea, pound yen, aggressive. Pound dollar, if it shifts back the other way, maybe we'll have some hope on that, Ivan. I'd be curious to see if we could get a setup maybe next week. If we start seeing it trend higher, you'll probably see the retail crowd flip sides. So we'll see.
You never know. You never know. But You know what, people? The most important is set up your trade, set up your plan, wait for it. You see us two dudes, we are not or 5-minute chart. We're not a 1-minute chart. We're not up and down hedging at anything. We're just waiting. We're just being patient. We're just seeing it coming, and then when we see it, take it.
Yep.
And let the rest be.
Yep. And no matter how strongly you feel, right? There's emotions, there's gut feelings, there's ideas. Whatever your feeling is, that's great. But at the end of the day, where's your stop? What's your control of this situation? If you're going all in on trades, it's around the corner that you're going to blow your whole account. If you're risking very, very small, you have a lot of room to make mistakes and you have a lot of room for recovery. That is like the simplest thing I could give you as a new trader. That if you're struggling, if you keep losing money, it's just a rinse and repeat. Reduce your position size. Still losing money and struggling, reduce your position size. Keep doing that. And then ask yourself, okay, now I know I'm at least, if I am still losing money, at least I'm losing it at a very steady, slow pace. But then second is start testing those concepts that you're employing to actually see if you can turn that edge in your favor instead of just slowly losing money. But the first thing is stop losing money quickly. That's like the first thing you could do to help yourself out. What do you think, Ivan? What is there anything else you want to look at here? I mean, it's a bit of a quiet day on NFP, but still some setups that are interesting in markets right now. So anything else you want to look at?
I'm still praying about S&P 500.
Okay.
Though what my broker does, get some European client. And you talked about position sizing. Position sizing for me, I think it's a CFD. It is incredibly low.
Good.
If I buy here and on the smallest lot size, I think I lose like $5 if I have stop loss down here or something like that.
See, that's
incredibly
that's really nice. In the US, we have limitations, but if you trade on the stock market, for my US friends, You can work with a regulated broker, of course, in a stock market setting. You can take, there's like leveraged S&P ETFs that you can trade. Just a little extra bonus for US people. For you guys outside the US, you don't need to worry about that. But yeah, Ivan, I think we've got a lot of stuff here that we've covered. If you would like to share people where they can find you, you guys, if you're not following Ivan, he's got some great streams. Sometimes I have my coffee and I watch Ivan's streams before mine. So he's got some cool content available. So there he is, Ivan FX on YouTube. If you're not already subscribed to him, check him out. Again, just search up Ivan FX on YouTube. Follow him. He, again, is a regular contributor to the A1 trading community. He helps make it possible here. We're doing it as a team here every day. So Ivan, thank you for coming on again, my friend. And everybody make sure to go blow him up on his YouTube channel. Make sure to give him a subscribe.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, that's going to be it from Mr. Ivan. But before you go, let's do something here. Let's do a bonus wheel spin. Is that possible? I know we did one already. We did a giveaway at the start. Yesterday, we gave $100 away. Today, we're going to spin the wheel twice. We spun it yesterday, and now we're going to do it again. So just a little special NFP giveaway. We've got 600 people in here. We're going to be giving away, again, we gave cash prizes away. We give VIP access away to our community. We've been doing so much stuff lately with this wheel spin, and it's been a lot of fun. So real quick, let's spin the wheel again. Can we bring it back in? Is that possible on the back end here? Once we're ready, we'll not rush them, but whenever they're ready, we'll pull the wheel back in. They're going to set it up in the other room, and we'll spin again. Just to, I don't know, give some more free stuff away. It's been fun. There she is. She's back. Hey, Emily. Guys, so we're going to do it again. We're going to spin the wheel, and you guys, let's do a refresh on the rules here. 1 second. So there it is. Here's the rules. First things first, you've got to subscribe to our Telegram channel. So if we could drop the link to the Telegram channel in the chat, that would be awesome. So first rule, you've got to follow us on our Telegram channel, which, by the way, we're sharing links, we're sharing free giveaways, we're sharing all sorts of good stuff in our Telegram channel. If you have Telegram, click the link. We're dropping it in the chat right now. There it is. So click that link, make sure to subscribe. And while you're on Telegram, click this link. We're going to drop it now to send a message to Emily. So to enter the giveaway, you have to subscribe to our Telegram and then send the message giveaway to Emily on Telegram, and she's going to randomly select our winner. So again, we're going to drop the link to send Emily a message. There it is right there. So send Emily a message and send the word giveaway, and she'll set you up with a potential winner. So, okay, there's the rules. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to go back to the wheel, and we are going to go ahead and give it a spin. Emily, take it away. All right, guys, let's see what we get here. Please don't be a $100 giveaway. I'm tired of giving you guys money. I'm kidding. Okay, and the winner is... You guys are going to bankrupt me, man. Stop spinning to 100. We're giving away $100. It's totally cool. Thank you guys for your support today. The stream was awesome. Okay, so we're giving away $100. You guys know the rules. One more time, let's pop up the wheel, or the rules of the wheel, if you will, just so we can see it. Again, remember to subscribe to the Telegram. Send the message giveaway to Emily. We just dropped her link in the chat. So there it is. You got to send the word giveaway, and we're going to give $100 away today to someone in the chat, which is awesome. I swear that thing has a magnet on it because we keep hitting $100 giveaways, and it's making me upset, but it's okay. You guys have been awesome. Thank you for your support today. Today's stream was really, really fun, and someone's getting that $100 giveaway. So send that message to Emily right now. Send the word giveaway, and we're giving away $100 cash for today's stream. It was fun. Thanks for being here, you guys. If you enjoyed the stream, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new, and we'll be back on Monday. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.
If you're looking for broker upgrade, we have an amazing offer just for you. Thanks to our partnered broker Axie, you may qualify for a 30% deposit bonus when you sign up using our link in the description below. For example, for qualified clients, a deposit of $1,000 could receive a bonus of $300 in trading credits. They've partnered with us to provide traders with the tightest spreads, lowest trading costs, and a huge range of tradable assets. Markets like Forex, commodities, and indices are all available for clients trading with Axie. Remember to use the link in the description to potentially qualify for the deposit bonus offered. and to support what we do here at A1 Trading. Please note, this offer is only available to traders outside of the U.S. For U.S.-based traders, consider checking out some of the other brokers listed in the description below.